Welcome again to the channel, CREATELARPSFORALL LLC. Currently working on Community of Legends is the game. We've got several demo versions in the works. The three main ones we have the fantasy one, which the skills are already up on the channel, but we're condensing them down into the similar format that we used at Stellar Fest. So, speaking of Stellar Fest, we have a second one which is sci-fi or science fiction. I know sci-fi kind of got copyrighted by a particular channel a little while ago, so we have to be careful with language on that. And then we're also working on comic books. And we're making demo versions. They're sort of quick start guides. They're where you can jump in with either of those free, and it's easy to storytell, easy to play, easy to run. And yeah, that's what we're working on at the moment. If any of that sounds interesting to you, if you have cool ideas that you'd want to see in a game like this, I may go over some of the skills here. They may also go over on the shorts. Everything's kind of random. I was sort of given the keys to this channel and told, as long as you don't veer into anything weird or upload anything strange, go for it. So I wake up, do my work, work 9, 10, 11 hours, and then when I'm tired from that, I jump over here and do this. So if you want to talk to me or get ideas from people on the channel, just let me know. So as for the demo version of the fantasy side of things, there are 6 skills. All the demo versions are going to have 6 skills. There's Fantastic Crafter, which can either be magic or non-magic flavored depending on how you see your crafter. There's Bardic and Nobility Training. That's like the person who knows things, knows history, knows how to talk to creatures and people. And then there's Healing and Foraging. Those are the 3 stacking / non-combat skills. More details probably in the specific shorts on those. I'm not gonna dive deep into that here. And also for the fantasy, there's 3. There's one that's called Weapon Training, which is, as it seems, you know how to use most weapons. Then there's Unarmed Combat, and this is more fantasy style. Think if you've played D&D, your monks, your rogues, your people who are good at disarming, diving, dip dive dodging. And then there's the more fantastical ones. I'm looking for a better name than that, but it's just called Fantasy Combat for now, which is where you're thinking of like your magic missiles, fireball, your shield spells, combat versions of fantasy spells, sort of condensed. So that is the fantasy version, the fantasy demo. Those are the 6 skills that will be in it. More detailed things to follow probably in the shorts. The longer videos I'm doing more for channel updates and overviews rather than just specific deep dives. The sci-fi demo that we ran at Stellar, also 6 skills, ended up working really well for having 6 people play test the game and demo it. There's a technology specialist, and this is for like your gadget maker, your scientist, your person who analyzes data. Then there's diplomatic expertise, and this is your, if you're a big fan of Stargate, Daniel Jackson. These are your diplomat characters that can understand the language, understand the culture, jump in, talk to creatures or people or alien life forms, and figure things out in a way that's non-combat-y. Then we've got medical and logistics training. These people in the demo have the ability to use science or some sort of future tech to fix people up after a combat, and maybe during a combat. I'm not going into the super specifics of the skills here. And then the 3 combat skills are projectile weapon training. I mean, that can be either with something like a modern firearm or a more futuristic laser type weapon. Close quarters combat, that can be sort of sci-fi enhanced, where you can run up and you have super strength and not super strength, but enhanced strength via technology, cool stuff like that. And then technological improviser. These are like explosives, shields, sort of like slightly more advanced sci-fi where you can like stun people or things of that nature. Sort of in combat technology use. That's not just a gun or fighting with your hands. And that is the sci-fi version demo skill list. Now, since you've heard the other two, the third one might seem somewhat similar, and I would advise for your demo version or for first time playing, depending on what setting you want to do, using these three as a reasonable template is good. We've got for the comic book version of the game, the demo skills, there is the Gadget Maker, Forge. This can be someone who's like your comic book version of Iron Man, your comic book version of Batman, but instead of having the combat, it's all about making things, making gadgets. The gadget guy from Static Shock, like that's the skill, the Forge, Gadget Maker. And then we have our, Street Smarts, or your person who can read people, or maybe they have an emotional manipulation power, comic book power. These are your people that can walk up and calm people. Think the lady with the antenna from Guardian of the Galaxy, or like people who use the Force in Star Wars. But for the comic book version, these are the people that have a power that can sort of regulate or amp people up if they need to amp people up. The third one is your people with healing abilities. That's either healing other people or healing themselves. Then in the comic book version, the three combat ones are again, projectile weapons where you can aim, shoot, think you're like dead shots. Then there is a hand-to-hand combat people like your Batmans and your martial people, Moon Knights. And then the third combat is any sort of energy or oddball powers, like people with shields, people with firing blasts. And those are the three comic book combat skills. Those I'm still sort of in development with. There's a team member that's a big comic person. Like, I read a few comics growing up, but they have like massive collection. And so the wording on that is still somewhat in flux. But those are all of the skills for the various demo versions. And we're going to be running those fairly soon. If you'd be interested in trying out as a player or throwing your hat in the ring as a storyteller, email us at CREATELARPSFORALL@gmail.com. It'll be in the description as well. Might experiment with music on this video. If you like it, let me know.